commissioner and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
Let me issue an apology. I'm sorry, YouTube. I pushed the wrong button.
Wow. This is
The
how we're
Knack
going to
Hardware
start.
and Lounge brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1546, May 14th, 2025. It was 94 degrees as a record high on this day. That was in 2001. It was 31 degrees on two occasions, 1907 and 1980. Well, that's when the song would normally start
played,
there.
but we're already
We
here.
got you.
So sorry about that, YouTube.
As we come on the air, it's not really on the air. You come on the air on radio, don't
As
you?
we start the show.
As we start the podcast, it is breaking that the Minnesota legislature has settled on a budget,
Well, that's nice of them.
a budget target agreement. Walz and Senate Majority Leader Aaron Murphy, House Speaker Lisa Demuth,
Dameth.
and,
Namath, like Joe Namath.
Namath.
Joe Namath.
and Speaker Emerita Melissa. Oh, Speaker Emerita. I thought Emerita was her first name. Melissa Hortman had a news conference today. They're touting the agreement. Of course, they have to praise each other and pat each other on the back. Walz added that because of the United Front, nearly 90% of the previously $6 billion budget deficit has been erased. That's fantastic. A document showing the agreement, I'm reading from a Hauser piece, can be found at the bottom of this article. Several DFL lawmakers tried to get into a room where the press conference was being held, and this was the adult children wing, which is most of them. They were upset because they wanted to have the taxpayers of Minnesota pay health care for all undocumented immigrants. They take them down. They're chanting "One Minnesota," right?
Yeah.
So in their One Minnesota, they don't give a bleep about you. Their One Minnesota would include the idea of paying health care for all illegals. What we're going to end up doing, apparently, is paying for the children of illegal immigrants.
Correct.
Right.
That was from the hallway, by the way. I watched the press conference, and from the press conference, you could barely hear some murmuring, and then you'd hear they'd be knocking on the door, and
Land
everybody
shark.
on the stage completely ignored him, the governor and the.
And they were demanding, open the
Legislators.
door. We're here for our adult childhood period.
But that's obviously a concession that was made, right?
Yes.
But is that still okay?
Funding private schools survive, too. I'm sure they're very upset about that. What is okay?
Well, I mean, I guess I don't need the emails.
The budget also includes plans to close the Stillwater prison. Now, I'm assuming that's the old prison downtown.
Not Oak Park Heights.
It's the one in Bayport.
Isn't that Oak Park Heights? They're not closing Oak Park Heights.
I'll look it up.
I don't think there was ever a prison downtown, was there?
Oh, yeah. My
Yeah,
old man
that-
used to drive us past it to scare the hell out
Yeah,
of us.
it's on the main drag.
I think
I
it's
thought it
gone
was-
now.
It's a little
It's
north
set
of.
back into a canyon.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was the one up on the hill.
No.
Oh,
Well, let's clarify this,
I'm looking it up
please.
right now. Okay.
Alcatraz.
Give me a minute.
I think it's the main Stillwater prison.
The Stillwater
isn't it?
Prison, which was
Yeah.
built in 1914 and is the second oldest facility in the state, currently, I don't need that pop-up ad, currently holds roughly 1,200 inmates. While maintenance has been done, the DOC says the prison is past its useful life, and maintenance needs are currently estimated at $180 million. They add fully modernizing the prison or replacing the current facility is estimated to cost about $1.3 billion. Which that's a lot of money.
Imagine the business you could have taken care of for all the people in Minnesota if you didn't blow that $18 billion surplus.
Yep.
Think of the things that could have been accomplished for everyone, not just this marginalized wing of the adult children with their ideological wishes and needs. if we had that $18 billion surplus, so many things could have been updated and repaired and fixed. And
This is the one that's right off of 95. Are we sure that this isn't Oak Park Heights?
well, Oak Park Heights was not built in 1914.
Okay, then you answered my question.
If a final budget agreement isn't reached by May 19, when is that? This is the 15th.
Monday.
16th.
Joe,
Monday.
I think, I don't want to fight with you, but I think you might be wrong.
On what?
The Minnesota Correctional Facility in Bayport, built 1910 to 1914.
Oh, yeah, I'm picturing it. Yeah, you're correct. I'm thinking of one even previous to that was off the main street in downtown Stillwater.
Okay, all right.
All right. That one has long since been
Because they have the warden's
decommissioned.
house there. And
Even if it's still there, and for all I know, it's just condos now or something. Yes.
Two quick things. It says
John, will you look that up, please?
I'm trying to right now, actually.
there's two stories.
looking
This
at
one says it houses 1,600 inmates, and it's going to close in phases over the next 4 years.
Right, and it's the one you see from 95 as you're
95.
driving along the river.
Right.
Yes, I'm sorry. The one in downtown Stillwater was truly the ancient one, and I believe that was decommissioned years ago.
That was built in 1851.
There
Joe,
we
it
go.
looks like.
That's the one that Cole Younger and the boys
yeah, that
must have
kind
been
of
in.
crowd was in there. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I don't think it even exists anymore. I think it's been torn down.
Probably a craft brewery.
But it
Yeah,
looked like
probably.
what a prison should look like.
Yeah.
It was set back into the holler.
And
Bars
parents
on
For
the
you,
wall.
that would be hollow.
Got it.
And boy, it looked like you weren't getting out of there.
Are you picturing the rock? They're crushing the rocks, all that.
Oh, absolutely. The striped suits on.
Turning big rocks into small rocks.
If a final budget agreement, well, no, I thought we reached a budget agreement. What are we?
I think that part of the story, Joe, was a previous version by Channel 5, and they just added to the top. So I think you can end it where you ended it,
Okay.
and don't use that part. I had the same mistake this morning as I was viewing that story.
Hauser is also reporting, this is as of 10 minutes ago, that there is one signature missing from the budget agreement. Minnesota Senate Minority Leader Mark Johnson has not signed off on the budget quote-unquote deal. He did not attend today's news conference. It's unclear why, but possibly over illegal immigrant health care issue.
He would be the ones crying for it.
I would assume that that's what that means.
What else did I have on this? The Star Tribune version. I don't think we're going to learn anything new, except we are rolling back health care coverage for undocumented immigrant adults, closing the Stillwater prison, and making other notable spending cuts. This is 2 weeks after 2 weeks of closed-door negotiations. Walls and leaders of the tied House and DFL-controlled Senate will emerge with an agreement that is unlikely to satisfy either party. Well, that's usually the way it is, isn't it? Okay. Well, thank you for eliminating the deficit. I don't trust that as far as I can see. It's something. As long as this moron is the governor, you're not safe from anything. As long as this idiot is still the governor, you are not safe.
You mean old Cockwomble?
That old cockwomble doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground, and
next time-
he's going to screw something up.
Next time you reach out to the governor, will you send him the clip of this particular?
Yes.
Yeah, see if he wants to come on.
Hey, Governor Cockwomble, how are you?
Come on down.
Come on down, you moron.
Throw in the Davis.
Meet the fellas.
I don't think there's anything more that we can necessarily add about that. We've clarified the prison situation. We're the Jesse James Days prison. That's gone. All right. We had to solve a milk problem about a month ago when the headlines were insisting that milk testing will stop because the evil orange man was going to cut
Oh, yeah.
milk testing, and only to read that that wasn't the case at all. The Department of Agriculture was moving to a new facility, and in the interim, state departments of health were going to be checking the milk. It's okay, you can drink the milk. All right. Now we have EPA to weaken drinking water rules. So there's the image. Again, you're going to be drinking swamp water. We're worried about the PFAS, the man-made chemicals that don't break down in nature. So I don't think the government should cut any rules that prevent the PFAS. So let's see what we have here. What did I choose? This happens to be an NBC piece. The Environmental Protection Agency said Wednesday that it plans to weaken limits on some forever chemicals in drinking water that were finalized last year while maintaining standards for two common ones. The Biden administration set the first federal drinking water limits for PFAS, or perfluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl substances.
Nailed it.
Yep. Finding they increase the risk of cardiovascular disease, certain cancers, and babies being born with low birth weight. Well, we don't want any of that. Those limits on PFAS, which are human-made and don't easily break down, were expected to reduce their levels for millions of people. Now, would Trump really want to poison the water? Limits on 3 types of PFAS, including what are known as Gen X substances found in North Carolina, will be scrapped and reconsidered by the agency, as well as a limit on a mixture of several types of PFAS. It appears few utilities will be impacted by the withdrawal of limits for certain newer types of PFAS. So far, sampling has found nearly 12% of U.S. water utilities are above the Biden administration's limits, but most utilities face problems with PFOS. That's different than PFAS, I guess.
Explain.
I don't know. With the stroke of the pen, EPA is making a mockery of the Trump administration's promise to deliver clean water for Americans, said Eric Olson, a strategist for the nonprofit Natural Resources Defense Council. President Trump has sought fewer environmental rules and more oil and gas development. EPA Administrator Zach Zeldin has carried out that agenda by announcing massive regulatory rollbacks. The EPA plans to loosen regulations for greenhouse gas emissions, cleanup standards for coal plant waste, and car emission limits, all of which will be turned back in, less than 4 years from now? The history with PFAS is more nuanced. Manufactured by companies like Chemours, 3M, PFAS are incredibly useful in many applications. They help clothes to withstand rain. They ensure that firefighting foam snuffs out flames. But the chemicals can also accumulate in the body. The Biden-era EPA estimated the rule would cost about $1.5 billion to implement each year. Water Utility Associations say the cost, combined with recent mandates to replace lead pipes, will raise residents' bills and fall hardest on small communities with few resources. Are we in danger? I don't know. The current administration promised voters it would make America healthy again, but rescinding part of the PFAS drinking water standards do no such thing. Well, somebody will have to weigh in here and help me, because I'd have no bleeping idea what's happening with PFAS.
You're on your own. We don't know either.
This board of chemists that you work with, Joe.
Yeah.
Well, I still drink the water out of the tap. That's one good thing about St. Paul. She's got good water.
Good water.
Yeah, all those holes in the ground.
Them's good drinking.
It's got some good drinking water.
Speaking of health and administration, did you guys see the JFK video from yesterday?
RFK.
No. I think his name's RFK.
Jesus, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, there's no.
That'd have been an astounding video.
Yes.
RFK was in a hearing, I believe, John,
He
yesterday.
was, yes, a congressional hearing.
And the Ben and Jerry's co-founder, Ben Cohen, was a little upset because it was pointed out just how many calories and sugar and things like that are in a pint of Ben and Jerry's
And
ice
what
cream.
was Ben and Jerry's complaining about?
Well, basically that under, what was it, John? Under this new ruling, like certain things would be limited as far as what they could do from a production standpoint. And he didn't take that news very well.
So what's Ben and Jerry's, about $12 a pint for that crap?
It's not cheap. I love Ben and Jerry's though. It's good ice cream.
So a guy who manufactures ice cream is in there bitching about the health of children?
No, he's complaining because there would be added restrictions placed upon his product.
Wouldn't you think he'd be gung ho for those kinds of restrictions?
No, I think he's gung ho about making sure they make a lot of money.
He's kind of a Bernie Sanders type Marxist. Just so long as he's got a couple of houses and a few cars and a helicopter, he's all right.
Right.
Yeah. Then they're okay.
It's okay for me, but not okay for you.
Right. Well, it's Thursday. We used to try to do a positive Thursday. That's not generally worked out well.
I should have pointed out too, it was Ben Cohen. Jerry was not there.
Yeah.
Is
And
there-
Ben got
yeah.
arrested as part of what Chris was talking about. He was protesting and got arrested.
He protested so vociferously that he
That's
got
correct.
arrested.
He got a little violent. He got a little.
There were half a dozen people or so who got arrested.
Let me
for
see if I get
protesting.
this straight. 'Cause
Check it
maybe-
on out.
Maybe this is more important than I thought. The manufacturer of ice cream, who's a Bernie Sanders type Marxist, he's angry because
Why don't
some new regulations have been placed on his manufacturing of ice cream, and presumably those new regulations were to ensure the safety of the ice cream.
I don't think that's what he was protesting, Chris.
What's he
I
Here,
don't-
let me
protesting?
do this. How about I play the minute-long clip? Would that be helpful?
I think it would be.
Okay, here's. I almost said JFK again. Here's RFK.
Boy, that's the DFLers trying to get into the office.
I was just gonna say
the wrong tape.
they're the very same thing.
I don't know what those people were shouting.
They're all protesting Gaza.
What's that got to do with ice cream?
Nothing, but they're protesting the deaths of children in Gaza amid the Israeli-Hamas war.
And this is while we're talking to Ben and Jerry.
Yeah, and then Ben came onto the scene shortly thereafter.
Yeah, Ben wasn't being talked to. He was just there to protest. He wasn't testifying.
Was he there to protest Gaza?
Apparently, that's what he was shouting about, yes. Cohen said Congress kills poor kids in Gaza by buying bombs and pays for it by kicking kids off Medicaid. Congress needs to ease the siege. They need to let food into Gaza. And that was his protest.
All right.
Okay.
And then he was pushing cops around. So
It's a strange world, isn't it, Joe?
I am going to announce,
No more ice cream talk.
because we're not here tomorrow. Thank God, boy, I bet you're glad we're not going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to call Blooming today, Lilac Blooming.
Oh.
Now, to be very truthful, I think I'm a day or two premature on that, but we won't be here. So I'm going to call it today at my house.
Do we document
And
it?
it's May 14th. That's about right where it's always been.
Is it 70 degrees?
I was gonna say, do we document it like the garage door opener?
No, this is my own whimsy.
I thought something really serious was about to happen. Like
It's about to
the
go
show
down.
is going to end the 1st of January, or I'm retiring, or
No.
I'm finally going to fire all you asshats. But no, it's lilacs.
Well, the background on that is somewhat important. Ken.
Yeah, okay.
Ken.
If you say so.
Okay, Kitty. The background is somewhat important because what do we have to go on as humans? People.
less reasons.
Right. When it comes to being told that the Earth is in danger because of the presence of human beings, what do we have to go on? We only have to go on our own personal experiences, right?
Right.
And now a 10-year window is really not adequate to determine the health of the planet. I certainly will grant you that. There's nothing can be divined from that. But it's all I have to go on. Nothing's changed in the sense. And then when I moved into this place, those lilacs were there. I didn't put them in. They were there doing what they do at the same time every year. So there.
Okay.
You're like a preacher. You start out mellow, and like a Sam Kinison preacher. You slowly amp up.
Got to build it. Yeah.
And then by the end, I did not put those lilacs in. The Lord himself planted those.
The Lord planted those lilacs, and they've been blooming at the same time of year for as long as we know.
Amen.
Amen,
Can I get
brother.
an amen?
It started out very philosophic sounding and then turned into a preacher.
It did.
See this ground here? This is sand. Sand. It's always going to be sand. It always was sand. It always will be sand. Move to where the dirt is. Need a lawyer guy? God, the way people drive, you certainly do, don't you?
Oh my God.
You need Bradshaw and Bryant. They're personal injury attorneys. They're the best in the game. Insurance companies and adjusters can be tough to deal with in the unfortunate event you're ever in an accident. So having someone on your side is important. Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant and his team are there to explain your rights and represent you and help you in a tough time. And when you deal with them, when you get together with them, of course, that consultation is free of charge. For 6 consecutive years, Mike has been recognized as a super lawyer and has been named among Minnesota's top 40 personal injury lawyers by Minnesota Law and Politics, which is the last word on such things. Bradshaw and Bryant hopes you're never in an accident, but if you are, call Bradshaw and Bryant at 800-770-7008 or go to MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com. And also, Bradshaw and Bryant does not want you to be part of the problem. Don't text and drive or drive distracted. That's just common sense from Bradshaw and Bryant.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Soucheray.
Add value, force the equity up, improve your curb appeal. Do it all in one fell swoop by getting a brand new, wonderful outdoor living space by using the company we at GL have been using for years. Of course, that being ProfessionalTurf.com. They specialize in anything and everything you can possibly think of for your backyard or your front yard. Anything you can dream up. Run your ideas by them. Or if you don't have any ideas, but you're sick of looking at your deal, have their design team come up with something, and then they're going to show you all their possibilities with their landscape imaging software. You see the final project before it even begins. Get on the internet, get over to that website, check out all the past work they've done. That will reassure you that you're doing the right thing. And then sign up for a free estimate with Professional Turf. They've been providing superior lawn care, landscape, and irrigation service since 1982. Schedule that estimate right now, ProfessionalTurf.com.
2 not necessarily unrelated emails.
2 emails that are not necessarily related. See how I scrambled it?
I do.
Got it.
This is from the Gumption County Sheriff.
That's called improv.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the Gumption County Deputy.
Yeah.
I wanted to add some comments regarding your conversation about Derek Chauvin and the Minneapolis Police Department's consent decree. The idea of a group of politicians meeting to prepare for Derek Chauvin's pardon with no evidence that there are any discussions about a pardon is beyond theater. It's stupid. These same people who are talking about being prepared for a non-existent event are the same ones who cannot keep our roads properly plowed in the winter. The politicians talked about preparing for a mythical pardon, yet every summer the area around Lake Nokomis floods because these exact same people are never prepared nor competent enough to come up with a plan to solve an actual problem. Regarding the Minneapolis consent decree, a little-known fact is consent decrees are a multi-million-dollar industry. For instance, according to the Chicago Tribune, the independent monitoring team overseeing the implementation of the Chicago Police Department's consent decree charged the city of Chicago more than $18 million in the first 5 years the decree was in effect. In the first 7 months of 2024, the monitoring team billed the city over $3 million. It will be interesting to hear what Minneapolis' cost will be. With big money involved, monitors have little motivation to release departments from consent decrees. Why would anyone want to give up a cash cow? Consent decrees do not come with an end date, so taxpayers are on the hook indefinitely for outside oversight that has questionable value. Lastly, I find it fascinating the city says it will oppose any effort by the DOJ to end the consent decree. Really? The city wanting to give up control of its police department and pay a lot of money to an outside overseer to do so is beyond comprehension. The Seattle, Cleveland, and New Orleans police departments have been under consent decrees for over 10 years and counting. Donald Trump once described consent decrees as a war on police departments. Given the anti-police politicians in Minneapolis, I really should not be surprised the city would want to do all they can to fight against their own police department. Always pushing back the Gumption County deputy. I said two, not necessarily unrelated.
We wait for the second.
This is very brief, and I've been requested not to use the name. The National Guard, based out of Faribault, this week, Monday through today, are somewhere in the state doing riot training. This must be something extra, as they had just had a monthly training on the first weekend of May. All right, and that's from a woman, a person I recognize. So that may or may not have any bearing on the suspicion of riotous behavior in the event Chauvin is pardoned. There has been no official word of Chauvin.
May I ask? Because I thought more about this after the show yesterday. Obviously, there's training that goes on throughout the course of the calendar year, and as hard as it is to believe, summer gets a little dangerous in the old downtowns. Could it just be regular anticipation?
Maybe, but the walls wouldn't call on them. They're just 19-year-old cooks. They're not qualified to do anything.
Boy, that was a quote, wasn't it, back then? 5 years ago, Joe.
And now we're anticipating. We don't know what we're anticipating. Black fathers, I'm mentioning this because I think it's germane to the story. Black fathers are often characterized by being uninvolved with their children.
Yes.
Well, here's a black father who went to a school board meeting. Boy, he had a doozy to complain
I'm glad
about
you're bringing
too.
this up.
Maybe you have the audio.
I do, yeah.
Here's a black father who went to the Minneapolis school board meeting. He's the father of a third grader, and he's demanding answers after his son had access to pornography during class because the teacher lent the kid the teacher's laptop.
Yes.
The teacher is on leave pending the investigation. Levi Chapman, the parent, said this should never have happened. 2 weeks ago, Chapman said his son forgot his laptop at home, so his teacher at Las Estrellas Elementary. I think we were better off when schools were named just for regular stuff around the neighborhood,
Got it.
Or after presidents?
Yeah. After a teacher at Las Estrellas Elementary let him borrow his personal iPad. Him and another student were sitting there, and they closed out a tab. Well, that tab that had popped up to them, my son described it as a bunch of naked men lying on top of each other, Chapman said. In other words, the teacher handed over his laptop for the kid to borrow, and the thing was full of gay porn.
Okay.
Chapman said his son told him he stumbled upon inappropriate content in his third grade classroom. The teacher came over to see what was happening, and my son said that he got angry with him and said, "You're violating my personal privacy," and took the iPad back from him, Chapman said.
Got it.
Can this teacher?
Thinking that was going to save him.
Then
Okay.
the teacher figured out how to give him a loaner laptop. It made him uncomfortable, Chapman said, referring to his son. 5 Eyewitness News reached out to the school district at 11 a.m. yesterday morning, but they weren't getting any response. What do you have on this, Chris?
I'm trying to find it. Sorry.
At 2 p.m., 5 Eyewitness News tried email asking questions like how this happened and what's being done about it. The district finally responded about 3:30, saying in a statement, Minnesota Public Schools take allegations like these seriously. Well, so far that's meaningless. And will follow any relevant district protocols. Meaningless. These allegations are currently under investigation. Meaningless. And due to data privacy laws, of course, we are unable to disclose specific details relating to this incident. Well, of course you are. Then 5 followed up asking how the future of district policies is covered by data process laws.
Would you like to hear from Mr. Chapman?
Data privacy laws. But they sent the original statement saying they cannot answer any questions because the allegations are under investigation. Here's Mr. Chapman.
Father of a third grader at Las Estrellas Elementary. Ms. Director, I had emailed you. I had emailed the principal, the assistant principal, and the school social worker. My son, 2 weeks ago, was exposed to a group of, let's say, gay men having sex on the iPad. And how my son came about it was he forgot his laptop at home, and your teacher lent my son his personal iPad. Well, when my son was doing a project with some of the other kids in the classroom, all of a sudden they closed out a tab. There was a bunch of naked men sitting right there in front of my son. And then all the other kids that had seen this, hey, they were shocked. But what's crazy is that I haven't heard nothing since. I didn't get a response from our superintendent. I had a meeting with your guys' assistant superintendent, your guys' assistant principal, but nobody had the decency to make my son important enough to show up to that meeting in the morning to tell me why he was able to be exposed to this type of material. Now, I've heard about the situation that happened at your guys' high school, at North High School, with the teacher that was involved with sexually explicit material as well. To me, I don't care what team you bat for, but you guys gotta quit putting all this stuff in front of these kids, all this sexual material, regardless if it's a flag or if it's them actually seeing the content on an electronic device that is in school. Now, I came to you guys last time arguing about security factors with the students about how they were roaming around. Now, dude, you guys literally I was told that you guys weren't gonna inform the other parents in this classroom. Like, you guys will tell us if a student gets lice, if a student gets COVID, if he gets the flu, but you guys will not tell all the parents in the classroom that their kids were exposed to sexual explicit material. And I think that's weird. It's weird because how can you send out a text message about all these other things, but you can't tell parents that their kids were exposed to this? Now, my son, one of 6 kids.
Please finish your comment.
My son, one of 6 kids, was the only one to speak up about this and the only one to make it known. So now I ask y'all, what are y'all planning to do about this? How are y'all gonna protect these children and hide this material from them? Because it's everywhere in this world right now, especially here. You guys gotta protect these kids. And if y'all, as parents, students, and everything,
thank you for your time, sir.
If you guys want to see a difference, start looking at their paychecks. Y'all want change? Look at their paychecks. That's how you guys.
Thank you for your comment.
And now keep it going. Does the board answer him? Thank you, sir, for that.
They tried to cut him off twice.
Let me. Could I answer for the gentleman?
Sure.
Why this is happening? Because there was a day in the United States when school board members were connected members of the community. They were part of your neighborhood. One guy might have been a banker. The other guy might have been a school teacher. The other guy might have worked in a hardware store. The other woman might have been a nurse. They were all connected. They all had the common goal of providing a sound educational experience for their kids.
Skin in the game.
It's all gone now. The school board members are no different than the political class. They are, in fact, a subdivision of the political class. They have to run for office and get elected. They are professional activists. Often I would imagine they don't even have children in school. They have no skin in the game. They have no horse in the race. They are there to bring about the mystery. I'm not saying that with any hesitation whatsoever. They're lousy. The school board members in St. Paul are ridiculous, and they include the woman who fomented the fake racial deal.
Yes.
She's running for something, and they're all. It's a shame. The country is. The closer you get to the country's tallest buildings, it is absolutely a shame the way we're governed. It's a shame the way children are treated. It's pathetic, is what it is. And here's a man who deserves all the answers he wants, and he's not getting them. He's
And
not
he
getting
won't.
them.
He's shushed away.
Part of the problem in America, Joe, that goes along with that, there's no accountability for
Right.
anything. Not
Right.
just politicians and school boards, jobs, everything. There's no
You
accountability.
fire this guy.
Yeah.
And you fire him on for cause because you brought pornographic material into a classroom where you're supposed to be teaching
Probably
third graders.
suspended
And
with-
you're so bleeping stupid, you even lent the kid your own iPad or laptop, forgetting apparently that you had all this crap on it, or maybe you didn't forget.
And you fire him instantly.
Instantly, he's gone.
Instantly. There's
He's not
no
getting paid. He's
no
gone.
Paid
What about
leave.
paid
You're
suspension?
gone.
No,
Yeah,
no paid suspension.
Have a heart.
Gone
Have a heart.
right now.
He'll probably get promoted.
Yeah. You
it's
got a couple of good leads, too. by the
No,
way.
it's a sad, sad situation. It's pathetic. School boards are not what they were. There's no.
They're just running.
They're just.
That's all they're doing.
They're just freeloaders hanging on
Let's
to
get him a
the-
GoFundMe
to
page,
the
huh?
public teat, and they're hanging in there to help bring about the mystery. It's pathetic. And that man deserves answers. He cares. He showed up.
He cared enough to stop what he was
By
doing,
the way,
go down there.
if you've seen the video of this, I'm
I
sure
have.
several people have. He's in his work shirt, meaning he took time out of
Right.
his work day to come to the school board. And what is he? He's shushed as soon as they possibly can. It's embarrassing.
What's embarrassing is that the residents of Minneapolis have let their city go,
Yep.
and St. Paul too. It's pathetic.
I think what I've learned from this is when I want you guys to stop talking, I'm just going to say thank you for your comments, sir.
yeah, shush.
Yeah. I hope you're going to get out to EcoFun and get a hold of that one of those Scoot Star electric bikes. Woo! All pre-tariff prices. There's no add-ons out there. Tim loaded up before the tariffs hit. Now I guess the tariffs are backing back down again, aren't they? EcoFun in Forest Lake, Columbus. It's on Highway 97, immediately west of 35. Scooters, motorcycles, electric bikes, youth recreational equipment with gas engines. It is a celebration of cylinders.
Love that.
Water equipment, 4x4s, service department, helmet, apparel. If you have not been to an EcoFun store, it is really, really a fun place to spend some time. And there's two locations. There's an EcoFun in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life near County Road 42. A new flagship store, which opened a couple of summers ago in Forest Lake / Columbus with a great big parking lot. No excuse
No excuse.
to not leave there with the perfect fit, perfect seat, perfect handlebars, perfect size tires for all the kind of riding you're going to want to do. And they have the inventory and a great website as well. EcoFunMotorsports.com. Oh,
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
Hey, look at that. Masters Maples and mastersmaples.com. Man, you know what? You know, Ben, hi, how are you?
Yep.
hi.
Ben, the owner of
Stop
Masters
playing.
Maples, is a massive garage logician
Wonderful.
and a town council member.
I'm glad.
And you can find his products online at mastersmaples.com.
Should we apologize now, or should we send an email, or how should we work this, Chris?
No, Ben's the man. And here's the thing. Here's what's
Ben
really
knew
cool.
damn well what I meant.
Masters Maples has a really cool newsletter. Rookie, pay attention.
Yes.
It gives you recipes,
Okay.
grilling recommendations.
got
It's
it.
grilling season. I don't know if you guys know
Tis
that
the
or
season.
not.
Now, I'm serious here. You would use syrup as you're grilling?
Oh, are you kidding me? I use it on salmon.
Bro.
I got to grill
Bro.
more.
Candied bacon. A bacon slab. You pour the maple on there and then a little habanero.
Oh, Chase.
It's really good.
And here's the thing.
That's what I
Picking the
do.
right seasonings and Masters Maples has got you covered. What makes the seasoning and rub so special, it's the number one ingredient is maple sugar. With 2 options to choose from, you can either choose the sweet or savory, or to hell with it. Get both of them, and you can add some real flavor to your cooking. Both can be used on the grill and the smoker, and they work well with any meat, burgers, ribs, steaks, brisket, chicken, pork chops, fish, etc. The sweet seasoning is especially delicious on many grilled or roasted vegetables, which I have done, and he is 100% correct. So sign up for that newsletter. It's really cool. Go to mastersmaples.com. You can order it anywhere. It's a great Minnesota-made product in Cohasset, Minnesota, and our buddy Ben is a loyal GLer, and I don't think you'll be disappointed if you decide to place your order today with mastersmaples.com.
Here's John Height.
Thank you, Joe. This update brought to you by the North American Banking Company. A sports note, of course, Timberwolves earning a spot in the Western Conference Finals last night. A 121-110 victory over Golden State. They'll play the winner of the Oklahoma City-Denver series. OKC up in that one 3-2. Game 6 is tonight. A win by Oklahoma City puts them in the conference finals against the Wolves. A win by Denver pushes the series to a deciding Game 7. In news, the Minnesota legislature, as we told you earlier, and the governor have reached a budget agreement. And Governor Walz, Senate Majority Leader Aaron Murphy, House Speaker Lisa Damath, and Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman, during a news conference this morning, touted the agreement reached for the state's budget. They all praised the teamwork and compromise it took to reach an agreement before the May 19th deadline. Not all roses, though. Several DFL lawmakers tried to get into the room where the press conference was being held. They were upset about the budget cutting health care for undocumented immigrants. The agreement cuts health care for undocumented adults, not undocumented children. In a written statement before the press conference, the governor said, "Well, we disagree on many things. Every person in the negotiating room has the best interest of our state in mind." Among the items in the budget, Stillwater Prison will be closed by 2029, a move that will lay off staff and require the state to find new places for more than 1,200 inmates. Staff have also raised alarm about security vulnerabilities in the facility that has poor sightlines and relies on century-old manual locking mechanisms. In the last 4 years, the state has spent more than $8 million preserving the facility, and closing it will save the state a projected $40 million, according to figures from the Department of Corrections. Phase 1 will include the removal and transfer of about half the inmates currently at the prison to one of the state's other 9 facilities for men. In addition, staffing will be reduced, with the DOC saying they are exploring ways to move staff to other positions. However, the agency does say a reduction in staffing is expected. In addition, the DOC says both a management and a decommissioning study will be done during Phase 1. The management study will reportedly guide ops, staff logistics, and community considerations, while the decommissioning study will plan the long-term future of the prison site. Tyler Kistner is entering the 2nd congressional district race, making him the first Republican to join the growing field of candidates vying to replace Representative Angie Craig. His entry marks the 3rd time that he is making a go for the seat. Remember, he ran against Craig in both 2020 and 2022, running close races against Craig, but losing in both those elections. The district has been a top target for both parties, but after Craig landed her biggest win last year, Republicans were not expected to prioritize her seat in the 2026 midterm elections as long as she was the candidate. Kistner's entry follows 2 Democrats who quickly jumped in the race. Former Lakeville Mayor and DFL State Senator Matt Little joined the race shortly after Craig announced, and physician and Mendota Heights State Senator Matt Klein joined shortly after. Kistner is from Prior Lake, served 14 years in the Marine Corps, including 10 years in active duty. He's a graduate of the University of Minnesota. In news, a Minnesota nonprofit says it's shifting its focus away from directly posting pretrial bail and bonds for criminal suspects. Minnesota Freedom Fund said the decision will go into place June 1st, will focus their efforts on what they call advocacy, community education, and fighting for transformative change in the pretrial and immigration systems. The group added that they will reevaluate their impact and sustainability after 1 year. That nonprofit was founded in 2016, and following the death of George Floyd in 2020, the group got $42 million in donations from all over the world. Since then, the group has invested $33.2 million directly into, their words, freeing people from cages and resourcing organizations in the fight for racial justice. Also in that time, the work had received pushback, including efforts at the state capitol to end bail payments by nonprofits. Those have been unsuccessful.
Freeing people from cages.
Yeah, they were responsible for putting criminals back on the streets. We've been fighting these idiots for years.
Including Kamala Harris urging you to contribute.
Woodbury police are asking for the public's help with any information about a rug that was found near a house fire last week.
It really
Tied the room together. I knew you were going to go there.
Beat me to it.
Police say the rug was found at an abandoned house fire on Afton Road on Friday. Law enforcement say they received info that 2 juveniles were seen biking with the rug near the 8,000 block of Afton Road.
And on behalf of Patrick Royce, did I miterate on your rug, Mr. Lebowski? No, I'm not. You're Mr. I'm the dude.
I'm the dude.
Man.
Information about the origin of the rug could help with the investigation into the fire. If you know anything, you are asked to call the Woodbury Police Department.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I stepped on a very important part.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
The rug could be helpful in determining what?
Information about the it was involved in a house fire. That was the beginning of the story.
No, I got that.
An abandoned house burned.
Yeah, who cares about the damn rug?
Apparently, the kids took the rug to that area, and somehow the house caught on fire.
You know how hard it is for a kid on a bicycle and another kid on a bicycle to each hold part of the rug?
Was that what they were doing?
That's how I see it. Yeah.
Rolled up.
That is awesome.
How can you read that story and not be the first image you see?
Yeah,
what I saw immediately.
Yes.
That's tough.
Wobbling all over.
Those are some skilled bike riders.
And was he giving him a buck? Or was he standing
two
on the
different
back pegs?
Two different bicycles.
Oh, that's impossible.
That's how I'm seeing it.
Somebody needs to give these little criminals a job.
They each got the roll under their left arm, and they're pedaling like crazy because they're gonna make some money with this rug.
Yeah.
Joe, keep up with me. Come on.
Yeah, you're the one who's pedaling.
And if you live up here in the northern suburbs, as I do, there's a sort of landmark that, it's going to be going away. A well-known classic old-time gas station in Champlin is up for sale. The thing you always see at that gas station, it's a Sinclair station. And it's a famous green dinosaur mascot that's been sitting right by Highway 169, and it's always dressed for the season. Holidays, weather, whatever. But it's always been dressed very cleverly. One of the owners, Jim Merkel, passed away in January, and now his family has decided to sell. His wife, Diana, said it's been difficult.
Said, thank God we have to dress that damn dinosaur anymore.
No, they want the dinosaur to end up in a park.
Yes.
Yeah.
City of Champlin wants to buy...
Yeah, fun story in the paper about it yesterday.
City of Champlin wants to buy the property and redevelop the land. The family would like to move the mascot, Dino the dinosaur, to a city park after the gas station closes.
What if somebody buys it and wants to keep it as a gas station?
Oh, there's no fighting.
City Hall wants to buy the property, John?
Hang on, let me go back. The City of Champlin wants to buy the property and redevelop the land. It's in an area where there's not any other commerce of that sort. Let's put
all
it that
the
way.
more important to have a gas pump there.
And
what were the name of those green dinosaurs? They were all over the United States, were they not?
Yeah.
Sinclair.
Okay.
That was the company.
That seems like a guess, but
Yeah.
It is, it's a guess. Pretty educated. I mean, the company's called Sinclair. Dino.
Yeah, this
That-
one's
I think it was Dino.
a little better.
Why don't we?
There's a big one in South Dakota, isn't it, Wall? Isn't that where the big Sinclair station is?
I have no idea.
He's right off the freeway.
Dino?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
Why don't we?
Take a break.
I
let's
looked
take a
up
break.
what
Let's hear
kind of
from-
dinosaur is Dino. So I'll have to do that. Give you
Brontosaurus.
is that what he is?
Yeah.
Brontosaurus?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You take the break before everybody just
let's,
abandons us.
Hold
I'd
up
like him to
there,
do it
Yeah,
again.
before we
cowboy.
take a break, we have to hear from Mr. Mikulski.
Yeah, hold up there, cowboy. You got some bugs in your chaps?
What? Excuse me?
Anyway, it's Rook here. And, of course, you know that I'm
We
talking.
knew that.
Really?
Escape with Us Vacations is
Where are we
back
going?
on Garage Logic. We're going to be really fun. We're going to go back in time to Tombstone Monument Ranch and Cattle Company. This is going to be a really fun trip. I am going on this trip. I
Oh.
invite you guys to go on this
A
trip.
dude ranch?
September 3rd through the 7th. It's 2.5 miles from the center of the West's most iconic cowboy town, Tombstone, Arizona. We got a working ranch, spend 4 nights exploring the surrounding area by horseback, off-road UTV, historic mines, and all sorts of cool stuff. This quaint replica of the actual town of Tombstone is a historic dude ranch with working cattle. It's going to be a blast. They have the saloon. They have a saloon you can go in.
The
With
doors you
guy-
push
With
through?
the guy playing the
Yeah,
piano
yeah.
and the garter, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a blast. I'm going to have one hell of a time. It's 4 nights. Each room is just, we're going Sun Country Airlines to Phoenix, comfortable round-trip motor coach, airport transportation, 4 nights accommodations at the Tombstone Monument Ranch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner daily. That's 3 meals, baby.
This should be a GL field trip. We should all be going.
You should
on
all be
this.
going.
I'll
Yeah.
drive, though. I don't want to ride in the plane.
I'll be driving too, but
Yeah.
just to see Joe and Rook on a
Oh,
horse.
my, holding the reins.
Oh,
Yeah,
Lord.
yeah, chuck wagon.
I happen to know how to ride a horse.
And this is your sister's deal, right?
This is Teresa and Maria at Escape
yeah.
with Us Vacations.
Let's-
How long is this ad, I wonder?
Well, I've paused. I hit the pause button.
It's
when
my
we
fault.
chimed in. That's okay.
Yeah, it's my fault.
651-788-4338. This thing is going to sell out fast. EscapeWithUsVacations.com. Also, a little teaser. Croatia, 2026, September. I'm just saying. 651-788-4338. EscapeWithUsVacations.com. I'll see you there, cowboy. Partner. Got that, partner?
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Let's say you're saving up for a big trip.
Yeah.
Go to North American Banking Company.
And take horse riding lessons.
Well, I don't know if they offer that,
No.
but they
They'll give
will
you
put
money.
your home's equity to work because a home equity line of credit from North American Banking Company is going to be able to give you great access to funds when you're going to need them most. And it doesn't matter. Maybe you're working on a home project for this summer, or maybe at the cabin. Their experts make it so easy. And they have 6 fantastic Twin Cities locations to serve you. You can visit them in Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and Maple Grove. They offer all of the services as the other big national banks. It doesn't matter whether you're looking to buy a home or get that new car that you've been thinking about. North American Banking Company offers the same online and mobile banking options as the other banks, but let me get that for you, cowboy.
Yeah.
But the key difference is you're going to get the unparalleled service of a community bank. So your first step is to check them out online today. Online today. It's nabankco.com to learn more. It's
You got
banking done differently. Sorry, Bilski. We'll maybe send this one back to
Microphone 1, Joe 0.
you. nabankco.com to learn more. Banking done differently. North American Banking Company member FDIC is an equal housing lender. Cowboy?
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, the next time I come in here, I will have some tools with me, okay?
Got it.
John?
That's it? Okay. In national and international news, U.S. drug overdose deaths dropped by 30,000 in 2024, according to a provisional report from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. A 27% drop from 110,000 deaths in 2023 to 80,000 last year is the largest one-year decline on record, bringing annual overdose deaths to their lowest level since before the COVID-19 pandemic. It's not yet clear what drove the decline. Experts cite the increased availability of the opioid overdose reversing drug naloxone as a possible factor. The Food and Drug Administration approved that for over-the-counter use in March 2023. Methadone and opioid treatment also became more readily available, getting approval for expanded at-home use last year. Shifts in drug use patterns and preferences could also be driving factors, according to the experts. All but 2 states saw a drop in deaths. Nevada and South Dakota experienced small increases. Deaths linked to synthetic opioids, including fentanyl, saw the biggest drop. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., one of the nation's most publicly recognized vaccine skeptics, took a softened approach on vaccines when he answered questions before a House committee yesterday saying, quote, "I don't think people should be taking medical advice from me." Kennedy, who also testified before a Senate committee the same day, defended the massive cut to the department's workforce, laid out his priorities for the Trump administration's proposed budget. Asked by Democratic Rep. Mark Pocan if he would today vaccinate his own kids for measles and chickenpox, Kennedy said probably for measles, but that, quote, "What I would say is my opinions about vaccines are irrelevant."
Well, that's true, right? I mean, he's not. Well, okay.
You want something to worry about?
Yes.
Here you go. U.S. energy officials are reassessing the risk posed by Chinese-made devices that play a critical role in renewable energy infrastructure after unexplained communication equipment was found inside some of them. Power inverters, which are predominantly produced in China, are used throughout the world to connect solar panels and wind turbines to electricity grids. They're also found in batteries, heat pumps, and electric vehicle chargers. While inverters are built to allow remote access for updates and maintenance, the utility companies that use them typically install firewalls to prevent direct communication back to China. However, rogue communication devices not listed in product documents have been found in some Chinese solar power inverters by U.S. experts who stripped down equipment hooked up to grids to check for security issues. Over the past 9 months, undocumented communication devices, including cellular radios, have also been found in some batteries from multiple Chinese suppliers. The rogue components provide additional, undocumented communication channels that could allow firewalls to be circumvented remotely, with potentially catastrophic consequences. Using the rogue communication devices to skirt firewalls, switch off inverters, remotely change their settings, they could destabilize power grids, damage energy infrastructure, and trigger widespread blackouts, according to the experts.
Sounds like a James Bond script.
In other words, destroy the grid.
You don't need bullets, do you?
They already run us. We just don't realize it yet.
And when you're not using your, I'm not going to name a specific brand, when you're not using your device to either play music or whatever, look stuff up, unplug it from your outlet. It's listening to you all the time.
Mine's never plugged in.
Well, you have one in your home.
Not in your case, Joe. You just continue on blissfully unaware of everything around you.
Yeah, you buy radios that don't work.
Maybe those radios are Chinese plants.
Send me $1 million. I'll see if it's listening.
As the Trump administration seeks to end diversity, equity, and inclusion practices on college campuses, a new poll suggests that while the concept of DEI is divisive, some of the initiatives being affected by his administration's guidance are less controversial. The poll, done by the Associated Press, NORC Center for Public Affairs Research, found that 4 in 10 Americans strongly or somewhat favor DEI programs in colleges and universities, while about 3 in 10 oppose those initiatives. 3 in 10 are neutral or just don't care, apparently. Support is higher for courses on racism and scholarships for students of color, among other services designed to help students from underrepresented groups. The findings underscore that while DEI has become a politically toxic and unpopular term for many Americans, some components of DEI programs have much less opposition. That's especially true among Republicans. About 6 in 10 Republicans oppose the programs broadly, but their opposition softens for many of the most common elements. Just under half of Republicans oppose courses that teach about racism. About 1/3 only oppose scholarships for students from underrepresented groups, and roughly 3 in 10 oppose clubs and mentorship services for those students. Not surprisingly, about 7 in 10 Democrats, by contrast, favor DEI programs on college campuses. The poll suggests some of this tension may stem from differing perspectives on what DEI means. Robert Ayala is an 81-year-old registered independent who says he leans Republican. He said his understanding of DEI is giving someone a free ride, but he says he fully supports scholarships and mentoring to help disadvantaged students. He said he has Mexican ancestry, grew up in South Dakota, where he faced prejudice, he says, as a child and lacked career direction. He said, if I had been offered a scholarship or training or had somebody to guide me, I might have found my way faster. He spent 22 years in the Navy after finding his way, then went into contracting, is now in retirement in Palm Springs, California. Walmart's first quarter profit slipped. It said it must raise prices due to higher costs from tariffs implemented by President Trump. The nation's largest retailers posted strong quarterly sales this morning, said it expects sales growth of 3.5% to 4.5% in the second quarter. However, it says like many other U.S. companies, it did not issue a profit outlook for the quarter because they're not sure what's going to happen with the stated U.S. tariff policies changing constantly. The threatened 145 import taxes on China goods were reduced to 30% in a deal announced Monday that should affect Walmart to some degree.
Is Costco owned by Walmart?
No.
Are they two different companies?
Sam's is.
Two different
Two
companies.
different
In fact,
companies.
direct competitors of one another.
I see.
Sam's Club is owned by
Yeah.
Walmart.
What's the difference between Walmart and Sam's Club?
You need to be a member.
Of what?
One is
Sam's Club.
One is Kirkland brand and one is Members Mark.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's Kirkland?
It's their
Kirkland is
brand.
Costco?
It's Costco stuff. A 19-year-old man arrested after
When's the last time you've been inside either a Walmart, a Sam's Club, or a Costco?
It's been a while.
I've been in 2 of the 3 in the last 4 days. So
Well, yeah, you've got relatives.
But
in
why?
the
No,
business.
seriously, why is there a Sam's Club if it's Walmart?
You're buying in bulk, essentially.
yeah, it's not. You're not going in to buy one.
I like
roll.
going to a place where I can buy my jeans and ketchup.
And get some paper towels.
Correct.
And
Set of
tires.
tires. Yeah.
You get tires and some mustard.
One stop.
And a really good deal for lunch.
I can get all of that at Fleet Farm.
True. Yeah, you can get that there.
Can you get chocolate-covered peanuts at Fleet Farm?
You better
Hell
believe it.
yes.
You can get so many good stuff like that at Fleet Farm.
Yeah, nuts.
Candy-
You can get some
candy
nuts.
and nuts and-
These.
And in about a week, you'll be able to buy Christmas
welcome.
stuff.
Yeah.
No, you got Halloween first.
That's true.
Yeah.
19-year-old man arrested after spending months planning an attack on a U.S. Army site in suburban Detroit, according to authorities. The man was planning a mass shooting at the Army's Tank Automotive Armaments Command in Warren, commonly known as the Detroit Arsenal. He didn't know that he had been scheming, though, with 2 undercover FBI employees who recorded audio and video images of their meetings, including handwritten diagrams of the site. The plan involved sending one of the undercover agents into the area with Molotov cocktails and assault-style weapons. He was carrying out apparently to help ISIS, according to what the men said. The man, who is a recent member of the Michigan Army National Guard, was arrested Tuesday shortly after launching a drone for a final look before an attack, according to the FBI.
John, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Just here's a break time.
But first, you know what I would like to tell you about? My friends at Hofferman Water and Connecticut. Give yourself the gift of fantastic water with Hofferman Water and Connecticut. And now is actually a really great time because the anniversary sale is going on right now through the end of May. So if you've maybe been on the fence about updating to the best quality water that you can have, I'm telling you right now, it's the time. It's the season. So get on the schedule and have them come up for that free water analysis. Here's the details. $400 off a K5 reverse osmosis water treatment system, a free A200 drinking water system with the purchase of a Premier Series softener, and half off basic installation for any new 1-year rental contract. It's the time right now, Joe. You're looking at me like I'm full of beans. I'm not.
No, I'm these are
I think you're full of beans.
these are filtration devices, correct? Yeah.
Are you making the switch?
Well, it's a very good idea,
So your water is
especially
not
when you
full
got
of
all
beans.
these PFAS.
Yeah, you got those PFAS in there?
This sorts it out. I
All of a
bet.
sudden, poof, those PFAS are gone. HoffermanWater.com is one way you can book your appointment. As long as you're on that website, you can see every single water treatment system that they have to offer, or you can give them a call directly at 612-895-2440. Either way, you're going to get on that schedule and have them come up for that free water analysis, and they'll give you that water score, and then they'll give you recommendations. And take advantage of that anniversary sale. They also offer 0% interest and same as cash financing with approved credit. HoffermanWater.com or 612-895-2440. Hofferman Water has been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years. Please do me a favor and mention that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
Our buddy GLer Keith out in Montana found a new use for Bugs Be Gone. He used it to remove soot that was caused by an oxyacetylene torch. He was using it inside the wheel well heating up and removing an old dead rotten bearing. Sounds like Bugs Be Gone worked great to clean up that soot, that mess that it left behind. And you know, Bugs Be Gone is noted for the easy removal of all sorts of organic stuff like sticky tree sap, goo, or bird excrement. And now we know it works great on soot, too.
Soot.
God, I was really hoping to get through this without your Tourette-style outburst. Anyway, where was I? Oh, the Bugs Be Gone hack. This is what you need to know if you're buying it for the first time. When you get to the gas station, before you do anything at the pump, spray down the windshield, then get out the credit card, go through all that nonsense. By the time you get back to the windshield, you'll be able to wash those things off with ease with just a squeegee. And then we've got another guy, Jesse, who used Seafoam Deep Creep to revive a fishing reel, and he proved the fact that we brought up earlier. Was it this week, John, or last week, where once you've used the Seafoam Deep Creep on something, you just walk around the place looking for more things to use it on. And that's why it would behoove you, if you're going into an auto parts store, big box store, knack hardware store, get the GL kit. That consists of the Seafoam motor treatment, the Seafoam Bugs Be Gone, and the Seafoam Deep Creep. 3 can't live without products from our friends at Seafoam.
Well, you can't beat the timing. After 2 weeks of endless sun and clear, cloudless skies, it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow and be cold, and it's bike to work day.
Darn it.
So somebody's going to actually use that bike lane over there on off the freeway?
We have blustery conditions called for tomorrow. Light rain, mid to late morning. Bike to work day, because these people are tough.
Yeah.
Will proceed as scheduled. You'll have group rides. Tomorrow, group rides of the downtown celebration will meet at 7:30 a.m. across the city at the 4 locations listed below. I'll have to find that. Free coffee and donuts. Oh, boy.
Will those 2 kids that were still in the rug maybe come to bike to work
and
day?
they're still trying to get where they're going. They're tired. They'll and so you get the free stuff, the food, at the government Center Plaza from 7 to 9. And again, these are tough people. Rain or shine, baby.
That's right.
So here you go. You want to join a group ride?
Yeah. How do you do it?
7:30 a.m. Lindale Farmstead Park.
Yeah. Start it up.
7:30 a.m. 38th Street Light Rail Station.
Right at Hiawatha there.
That's right. 7:30 a.m. 18th Avenue Northeast and 5th Avenue Street Northeast.
Yeah, Northeast, I don't know where
up
that's
there
at.
somewhere.
Yeah, it's up around there.
And then 7:30 a.m. Fairview Park. I don't know where that is.
Fairview Park is.
Minneapolis has been investing in infrastructure to make bicycling easier, safer, and more comfortable because we don't give a bleep about you people who are stuck in a car.
Yeah.
Through our Transportation Action Plan, the city has made commitments to advance safe, modern, and convenient transportation options for all residents. We haven't done anything for the automobile. A key component to the TAP, Transportation Action Plan, is to encourage drivers to shift away from those evil personal vehicle trips and have 60% of trips taken by walking, rolling, biking, or transit. 60%.
Okay.
Those 2 kids with the rug, man, they should have taken,
yeah.
a bus or something, Events like Bike to Work Day and our As You Go Minneapolis campaign are helping travelers around the city make this switch by highlighting improved infrastructure. Again, we've improved infrastructure only for the bicycles.
Yeah, at the cost of automobiles.
Yeah. And providing information and resources. Well, good luck to you. It's
what have you always said? If you ride a bike to work,
and that's what you do for a living.
Yep.
Get there sweaty, sit there in that swampy mess all day.
Kenny, at a previous place of employment, it was not here at Hubbard Broadcasting, we had a guy that bike to work every single day from about April 1st to the end of, September.
How far out?
He had about a 30 to 40 minute bike ride. Really nice guy, but his office was
Just enough to get swampy
Just the
underpants.
kid?
it was not here.
Oh, not here.
It was
We
not-
had a kid here that did it.
Yeah, we did. But boy, that was tough to go into.
Yeah, but
Hey, we got to talk about
that
this budget
kid,
stuff.
that kid, we rode him like a mule every time we saw him, and he took it in stride. And
Yeah, he did.
He's far more successful than we'll ever be at this point.
Well, I imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this,
He's
I,
not 56 and working at the airport.
I always keep track.
Not reporting traffic.
He'll be flying in and out of it.
Yeah, right.
I always keep track of the bike track. Is it Pelham Boulevard?
Yes.
Or is it Otis?
Well, it's Otis.
It
Pelham.
crosses
One of
over
those.
Otis.
Yeah.
It's Pelham Boulevard.
And again, that's always first plowed before the street. That's not an exaggeration. And I have, I cannot recall, for example, this spate of nice weather we've had.
Yep.
I haven't seen one bicycle on that path.
I travel it every day.
Do you ever see
That's
one?
my route.
Yeah.
I do not ever see anybody.
Either do
bicycling
I.
there.
That's my route.
It's a weird spot too because it doesn't really go anywhere.
I used to drive that on the way to work, and after an overnight snowfall, there was always car tracks in the bike lane.
Well, you would be in known danger of running into a bicyclist.
When did I point it out to you? Remember, it was perfectly plowed after a snowfall.
Yeah.
This season,
And the street wasn't.
and the street was
I think-
crummy and
I think we discussed that, and I know in Minneapolis it's the case where the Parks Department plows all of the bike paths. That's why they're usually done before the streets. Yeah.
got it.
Well, because they're easier to plow too, because there's not giant gaping holes.
Well, that's true.
In the
'cause
middle of
it's
the
new
street.
pavement more often than not.
Well, the only one of the staff who could bike to work tomorrow would be me.
Oh, for sure.
And that ain't gonna happen.
And that ain't going to happen.
No.
I wonder how long it would take me to bike home from here.
Probably less time than it does to drive.
Might be.
Can I tell you a little time something?
Go.
I'm willing to be a fair weather fan, and the playoffs in basketball are interesting, and I'm glad the Timberwolves are advancing. Anthony Edwards is really fun to watch. I get all that. I can't take much longer a 48-minute game that takes 3 hours. And here's an example for you. At the with about 7 minutes left in last night's Timberwolves game,
Yep.
there was about 17 minutes left in the third period of Edmonton at Vegas playoffs.
Yep.
They concluded at the same time.
Yeah, there's
17 minutes of the hockey game took what 7 minutes of the NBA game.
Yeah, there's
took.
not nearly as much stoppage and play at hockey.
And then the endless commercials. If I was a serious basketball fan, I would be upset. There's no you break up the rhythm. You get it'd be like
and
if
unfortunately, that's part of the strategy is to break up the rhythm with certain coaches. That's why they call the timeouts.
well, I don't like it.
I couldn't agree with you more.
I don't like it. Now they play the winner of Denver OKC.
Yes.
And they play tonight.
And you believe they're capable of winning no matter who they play.
They're better. They're a better matchup against Denver, but I mean, they're playing really well. They could beat either one of those teams.
It's a 48-minute game that in the playoffs takes 3 hours.
I don't like it, Joe.
48 minutes. 2 12-minute quarters per half.
No. Oh yeah. Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
And it takes a long time.
It does.
Only because they come to us.
See?
Nope.
What do I have? Oh, I got a great news for you. Do we have...
Oh, you need a little fan
well,
for
we
that.
got to have some fanfare stuff, don't we? I thought I had some of that.
I got it right here for you, Brad.
All
The
right.
GLer of the week. Just the way you want it. Ice cold.
Here's to the red, white, and blue.
Thank you.
Well, let's get a jump on...
It's time to jam with the mayor of GL with another Author's Corner.
Let's get a jump on the weekend
Hey,
and announce this week's GLer of the Week, brought to you by Masters Maples.
we're
Fantastic.
getting a jump on her.
Today, we're going to salute a gal,
Huh? Okay.
Karen Stern from Wilmer,
knows
Minnesota.
her? Which
I
one of the
don't know
staff
her.
knows
I don't
Somebody's
know
gotta
her.
I have
We're off
family
the
in the
hook. We
area.
don't know this winner. Karen.
KWLM, the talk radio juggernaut in Wilmington.
Karen Stern from Wilmer. Thank you, Karen, for your support of Garage Logic and being a faithful member of the town council. Along with our warmest personal regards, you'll be getting a $50 gift box from Masters Maples, which is really worth more than $50.
That's right.
You got your shipping, you got your taxes, you got all this and that.
Let's
Well,
make
maybe
some
no taxes because it's food.
Make some candied bacon, Karen.
Listen every Friday as I salute one town council member throughout this year as GLer of the Week. If you're not a town council member, go to garagelogic.com and sign up for an annual membership. If you sign up, you get a Fratelloni's gift card.
I saw that you just did some certificates the other day.
And all the other goodies. You'll be entered for a chance to be GLer of the Week sometime yet this year, the year of 2025. Karen Stern from Wilmer is our GLer of the Week.
And go to garagelogic.com and upgrade that town council membership today.
And
By the way, Brian let me know 3 hours and 28 minutes it would take me to bike to Jordan from Hubbard
It's
Broadcasting.
not worth
Really?
it. It's not worth it.
yeah, but
Well, the commute itself's about $1.50 right now.
Yeah, it's really not much more than walking, is it?
well, typical of this state, we didn't do anything on this.
Nothing?
Well, we did one thing. And this comes to us from the traveling Lymans who are in South Africa, in Mpumalanga province at Marloth Park. It was on this day.
May 15th, 2025.
It is a sports-related item. On this day in 1896,
Millers.
the St. Paul Saints,
Okay.
at that time a Western League professional baseball team, played their first home game at Aurora Park, beating the Grand Rapids Yellow Jackets 17-0.
Where was Aurora
I
Park?
believe Aurora Park would have been smack dab downtown. I don't think there's any vestige of it left to recognize, but I believe
Yes, there's no vestige of it left.
she was downtown.
Where is the vestige? Yes. Fancy words from such a simple man.
To his credit, he has to get Fun Friday in today.
Yeah, I got to work that in.
You know, Charles Comiskey designed that park.
Was
How
it
about that?
downtown, John?
It was in Frogtown, it says.
Frogtown.
Frogtown's minor league baseball park.
be
Charles
damned.
Comiskey started the team,
Yeah.
and he was also a first baseman. I didn't know any of this.
It was on the corner. John, are you seeing this on the corner of Dale and Fuller?
Dale, yep, Fuller Avenues, Dale and St. Albans Street, and Aurora and Fuller Avenue.
What's there
Well, that's
now?
not Frogtown. That's Rondo neighborhood.
What is all this talk
That's
of
the Rondo neighborhood.
frogs inhabiting a city?
And on this day in sports disappointment history,
Yes.
On May 15th, 2025.
I shall speak like this for the rest of the week.
on this day in 1988, the Minnesota Strikers lost the East Division Finals 44-1 to the Cleveland Force. I don't even know what the hell game they're talking about.
Minnesota Strikers is a football club.
Yeah, but they weren't.
Yes.
That was their
Minnesota
last
Strikers,
game in
Great balls
Minnesota.
of fire. This was their marketing ploy. Minnesota Strikers, great balls of fire.
On this day,
Straight from hell.
on this day
15th?
in 1999,
Yes.
the Wolves lost to the Spurs in the first round of the playoffs 3-1, an utter disappointment.
Yes.
Their Spurs can be dangerous, as this cowboy knows who's going to the Dude Ranch with Escape with Us Vacation.
Are you going to wear Spurs?
Yes, and assless chaps. Only after midnight.
Assless chaps.
Just make sure you take them off before you sit down on the toilet.
I think
Yes, of course.
all chaps, by the way, are assless. Just
Are
if
they?
you're- Yeah.
Oh, just by design.
yeah.
You just have to make sure you put the jeans on her.
Got it. Yeah.
Well, once more, another shout out to Karen Stern and Wilmer. She won the Masters Maples this week. GLer of the week. Thank you, GLer.
I shall ride
Thank you.
Bareback.
Thank you very much, Festus.
Do you ride bareback?
Festus.
Not anymore.
I used to.
Hey, do us a favor. Hit that smash that subscribe button on the Garage Logic YouTube channel. Yeah, that's right. Garage Logic has a YouTube channel, and you can join in on the fun each and every single day, starting right around noon, where you can watch the show live. Just follow us along on the Garage Logic YouTube channel. And, excuse me, the best part, you can interact with the show live as it happens. It's kind of fun. Anyway, follow us on all of our social media channels as well, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And also sign up for that Daily Logician email. It comes right to your inbox each and every single day. And it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. Find out more and sign up right now online at the website, which is, of course, garagelogic.com.